Good evening, welcome. If you do have a mobile phone, if you'd like to put it on silent, please. Thank you very much. Right, huge welcome to Ellis Taylor with It All Adds Up to a Spell. I first saw Ellis at the Probe conference, where he had only an hour to cover the complex subject of numerosymbology. Ellis has discovered all manner of numbers, names and symbols intimately linked to us and our consciousness. So let's find out a little bit more. Please welcome Ellis Taylor.
Thank you, everybody, and it's great to see a great turnout on such a horrible night, but yeah, nice to see smiling faces everywhere. Every time I come to St Anne's, I have something strange happen, and today I came on the train, and I caught the train to the salubrious Preston railway station, and there caught the rattler to St Anne's. Well, on the rattler, I'm sitting there with, and it's very noisy, but a lady got on with an elderly gentleman, and I thought, wow, she looks just like a Native American. Like, spot on like her. And I heard her talking to somebody sitting next to her, and she was saying, oh, we've come from Oxford. Well, that's basically where I come from as well, Oxford. And she was speaking with a Welsh accent, and that's where I live now, in Pembrokeshire, in Wales. And she carried on with her conversation, and she said, oh, I'm the great-great-great-granddaughter of Geronimo. I thought, that's a bit strange, isn't it? You know. So yeah, that's one weird thing that's happened on my trip here. Anyway, let's get on to this talk here, Numerosymbology. And its dark and sexy secrets. I think we're okay with that. Okay, it's all based on energy and how energy works. So if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency and vibration. Everything is number. Now when they say everything is number, we're not talking about the symbols, we're talking about what they represent. So in tune with nature's hidden harmonies. And the pen is mightier than the sword, as you'll find out. But it's a magical process, as you'll find out. So swords make words, and words can make swords. The symbolism of the sword represents the mind, challenge, conflict, intellect and mental power. And it's male. So well before Bulwer-Lytton, in the 7th century BC, Assyrian sage Ahikar, I think that's how you say it, wrote, "The word is mightier than the sword. Even in this techno age, the pen is mightier than the sword," holds true. For besides the instruments of writing, pen means head. And head refers to the mind and our unconscious memories and instinctual programs. Our recollections direct our behaviour. To govern our thoughts has been the goal for centuries of controllers. Symbols do that. It is through symbols that man consciously or unconsciously lives, works and has his being. Thomas Carlyle. Very early in humankind's history, the shamans and priests discovered that our conscious minds communicate with the subconscious and the universe through symbols. They knew that by skilled design they could wield immense power over human consciousness in the forms of writing and numeracy. For thousands of years, by decree, writing was a sacred activity and the especial province of select priests, and later also insistent monarchs and aristocrats. With the introduction of the printing press, the future overseers type of the soon-to-be hordes of disenfranchised, town-planted country folk were roused to study. The great unwashed were ready to spell and to write. When the Industrial Revolution in the late 18th century was launched, schooling was and is still intimately involved with Bible tract and religious indoctrination. There have always been 4 R's, not just 3: reading, writing, reckoning and religion. In very short time, students learn to associate speech sounds and numbers with pre-designated ordained symbols. Keen and trusting minds were and are trained to believe in them, and we just use them without any thought. Every literate person has consented to use these symbols for writing and counting, but no one has been taught that they hide other functions as well. The rules of writing, counting and their devices were designed over the centuries by haunted and inhabited priests and magicians. They were all men, mostly celibate and mostly human as well. They were rigorously mind controlled, everyone is, but these solitary clerics believed and did what they were told, much more than the less cloistered and less frustrated layman. They believe there's only one God and that he is male. Learning the 4 R's involved the potent hypnotic techniques of repetition and rhyme. Anybody who's into hypnosis will recognise those ways of getting right into the unconscious mind. All 4 disciplines involve the biblical Genesis account, and I'll show you all these things. The symbols are constructed using geometric archetypes, curves, straight lines, circles, dots and angles. Subliminally, these glyphs repeat the same story, which itself disguises an agenda of human control. Count, from Latin, means to tell a story, also to influence opinion, e.g. count for you, count against you. It's true that the sounds of letters and words work very well as consciously recognisable signs and symbols of elemental sounds, but what do they say in secret to our unconscious? Not a surprise, but I thought I should mention that the alphabet is androcentric, i.e. its letters are designed from a male point of view. Like the story of Genesis, these symbols and orders tend to suppress and denigrate the feminine, while grudgingly having to acknowledge the power it has over the male. And you can see from those illustrations the different sides of the brain, which left is the feminine side and right the male. Sorry, the other way around. Our minds assist in creating everything that happens in our lives, but that does not mean that we do. They harbour double agents, plants, as Genesis reveals, put there by others to limit and shape our life experiences and our means of negotiating them. All symbolic language is intended to be recognised by our program memory facility, or instincts, not the same as intuition or instinct, to become acceptable to our subconscious and conscious minds. Essentially, the alphabet and numeric symbols are designed around the sex act, which is no surprise. We are, after all, discussing a means of creation. It's just that it's not all that they are by a long chalk. So this is just a little PowerPoint thing that I put up to show how it fits in with the Genesis story. I don't know why I put all that text in there. Trawl through the Bible. So in the alphabet, letters and other symbols of writing straight lines are supposed to indicate masculine power. More on that in a bit. Curves are feminine receptacles or express impotence, except when they are circles. Then they are almost always male. Ovals are feminine, they count for nothing. This is androcentric. In that misogynist environment, but they did have to acknowledge they are required for enhancement and regeneration for family or group. The placement of these archetypes in a letter or number glyph designates their instruction. The sexual power of woman that's frightened the men in their little cloistered lives. Very powerful to any man. And notice the symbols of the male. Doesn't quite work with the man. Here's a willy. Aren't you worried? You got the horse. So hopefully I've now given you some clues to why the number 13 is so revered, e.g. the symbology of the USA. Number 13 is all over their symbolism. It's the biblical Genesis thing again going on. Right. Now, the small a is the male genital area in profile. Capital A is again without any power, it's impotent too. It's got none of the round stuff to go with it. So the impotence and unawareness of the male symbol 1 has been carried over to the first letters of the alphabet. A problem, of course, if you are an occult aware entity with a letter A that needs the power to impress. NASA empowered their A this way. You'll get that? Crowley sussed it too, of course. I just reckon that Shayla looks like him. And he's also got David Shayla comes out at 666.
He looks like Griffin as well, that fella. On the right, he looks like Nick Griffin.
Yeah.
If you shave his head. He's got fat and chubby like that.
Yeah. That's true, actually. Yeah. So the alphabet letters and their values, lowercase. This is the difference between numerology and numerosymbology. The lowercase letters go from 1 to 26. And the intensified letters are K and V because they come out intensified numbers, which is a repeated number like 11, 22. and the uppercase follow on 27 to 50. And then you've got those intensified numbers too. There's also a method that you go into where you count up the value of the letters all the way through and what they come to when they're all added together. So capital U comes out as 777. This is all used in symbolic language, coded language. And the combined alphabet for capital J is 666. So this is the template that came to me, what they used for the letters and the numbers to show which part of our minds or our mental faculties, whatever you want to call it, the designs of the numbers and the alphabet letters apply to. So you draw your number or your letter in there, and you can see what it's relating to, which part of our minds they're actually influencing. And that's very important, that line there. That's the line we write along. That represents the physical plane, us in this incarnation then. So there's all the numbers in their positions, where they start and where they finish, and what they do in between is very important in reading the symbols and their motivations and influences. So reading number characteristics. Lots of people here will be number 7, because number 7 is very interested in mysteries, very interested in learning about the unseen. And so number 7 will be in most people's numbers here, I would say. So number 7, if you look at it compared to number 8, it's just a line. And what 7 does, when we write from left to right. So left is the past, right is the future. So number 7 comes from the past, goes to the future, and delivers to the present. So therefore it's the psychic number, it's the prophetic number. It's the ones that all shamans will have. It holds on to nothing, it's a messenger. It doesn't actually accumulate anything, it delivers. And what it is part of a lightning strike. So you've got a lightning strike that goes, zzz, like that. That's all 7s. So it's the number of light, it's the number of the messenger delivering information, etc. And when you look at number 8, it's a different kettle of fish altogether. Number 8 is very controlled, very organised when you look at it. It's also very accumulative. It holds on to things. It ties things up. It's the number that you'll find in anything that's got anything to do with control, anything to do with organisation, the law, finance, engineering even, because it's drive. It's the drive belt too. So you look at the symbology of all these things. And it also finds itself going around doing the same thing over and over again. So it's a repeater all the time as well. It never gets off that single track.